All right. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome back to another Clearmud live stream. Let's get straight into it, shall we? How's everyone doing today? Make sure our audio. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Well, sounds good. Ooh, slow start. I was up late and messed up my first batch of coffee. I had to make another one, and this is literally my first cup of the morning. Let's double check that. Nope, wrong one. Is that the one? There we go. Yo, what's up, Mr. Baker? Welcome back. How you doing today? What's up, Kieran? I know, right? Well, good evening to you. Thanks for, joining us on your evening. Appreciate you. All right. So we're going to continue the build on Labs OS, but I also want to talk about, we've had another day to think about our $1 million ARR idea. Where's everyone stand? Does anyone need help building anything? And then I was also troubleshooting. I don't know if this is the best route, right? But I wanted to have a unified approach for my authentication layer on Convex, using the same database and authentication layer for Clearmud.ai, Portal, Labs, etc., etc., etc. I'm having some issues getting Portal up and running off of the same database. We're almost there. I'm working with Codex right now. I don't know if it's a bad idea though. I don't think it's impossible, but now I'm second guessing myself. Nice, nice. Well, awesome. So auth is failing because the I'll try doing it here, but we'll see. Oh. Pull this off. Good morning, Nikki. How you doing today? Managed to get my agent to work after the whole model hallucinating. Just decided to do a GitHub backup. Tried GLM 5.1 working fine. Good to hear. Good to hear. Hey, Conrad. Welcome back. Thanks for watching yesterday's video. So the plan for today is we're just going to continue vibing with the audience, answering questions, helping you build anything that you may have difficulties building. It's my goal that Labs OS I get up as soon as humanly possible. And this is going to serve as kind of our framework, or I don't want to call it a course, right? But our guidelines to help us all achieve that goal of 1 million ARR. So we're going to continue working on this today, but I'm kind of just working on other things in parallel as well until there's other questions. So hope that answers it. Listen, this new format, like we're building it as we go, right? I didn't come into this with a predefined curriculum or anything like that. We're just kind of making these adjustments as we go and building this system as we go. But I'd love to hear, what's your industry? What's your strengths? What pain points are you trying to solve? What are you trying to build? Maybe I can help. So I've already done this. But now I mean, I already know that we go to clearmud.ai, we try to log in, sign out real quick. And it boots us to Portal. So let me fix that. iOS is for my day-to-day, but I want to try building an app for personal use at the moment that turns a subject into a podcast, as I think in taking knowledge the best way. Okay, nice. Listen, that'll be a fun experiment. Maybe you can get some inspiration from NotebookLM. So this, I guess it may not be exactly what you're thinking, but you can create different notebooks here, add sources, and then create a podcast from it that two AIs go back and forth talking, and you can raise your hand to ask questions based off the subject, based off of the source URLs that you provided, whether it's documents, whether it's YouTube videos. It's a pretty nifty tool. I really love it. I haven't used it recently, but it's an awesome tool. All right, we'll get to that in a second. Gateway not connected, huh? Interesting. I don't like how I have to do this every morning now. What's interesting is I've been getting Telegram pings, like my morning brief, the daily sync, everything's coming through. Let's see. Just at 9:12, 8:39, 8:35, 7:32. So it's been working this morning, but our front end, it's not connecting to the gateway. Interesting. I'm going to share this discovery with Muddy to see if he can't help me fix this. Yeah, so you're more thinking like just entering in a broad subject and then turning it into a podcast? My only concern is like, how's it pulling that data? Is it just from its knowledge base, or are you giving it source URLs? Let's pull this up full screen. And look at my notes here as well. As soon as we get Muddy back online, I first want to troubleshoot why the gateway is... Hey, good morning, Muddy. So I've been seeing all the pings on Telegram all morning, pretty much 7 a.m. through 9:12 a.m. But when I came to access Muddy OS to chat with you, the gateway appeared to be offline with a bunch of error messages. What could be causing this? Because clearly you were working and pinging me on Telegram, right? I didn't check the VM to see if your gateway, your dashboard gateway was accessible that way. But I feel like there's room for improvement here with Muddy OS. So please look into this. Let me know what you find and let me know what the fix is moving forward so that each morning I don't have to restart your gateway. All right. Yo, what's up, Pokemon? Welcome back. Yeah, with URLs, but fine-tuning it to act like a podcaster. Interesting. Okay. Okay. Yeah, check out NotebookLM. You'll find it's got a very interesting feature. Once you add all like the source documentation, I'll go back to this one. You can go to this audio overview. And it'll essentially generate a podcast. Let me go to an old piece of audio. And you click this interactive mode down here. And then what it'll do is it'll start playing that audio interview. And then as it's playing, you can raise your hand.
Okay, let's unpack this. I want you
to ask questions about whatever they're talking about, and they will answer based off of all of their knowledge from the source URLs. And as you can see here, I just fed it like 10 2+ hour long form videos from Alex Hermosi. It's an interesting use case. It's pretty fun. That way you don't have to go watch all those videos if you don't want to, right? But I know some of us do enjoy consuming content like that. Put that back there. I need to have a quick mute button so you don't hear me cough. What do I think are the benefits of frameworks like OpenClaw and Hermes compared to Codex and Claude Code? So, I mean, just on the surface, right? Codex and Claude Code are for CLI-based work. Yes, they are the desktop versions of Codex and Claude, right? Claude Desktop are coming up with solutions to help you automate things, to help you create scheduled jobs that reoccur at a certain time frame. But I think the benefits of that outweigh, right, those two desktop apps of OpenClaw and Hermes is they become your assistants, so to speak. You can train them however you'd like, but primarily my main two setups, I have an executive assistant on each. and then they have their own multi-agent team behind them. I send a request to my executive assistant. They then delegate to whether it's engineering, marketing, growth, etc. Right? That's like the main benefit right there. Is if you want to create a more autonomous organization, the way to go right now is OpenClaw and Hermes. Right? They learn as they go. They operate different, right? Hermes memory and OpenClaw memory operates different, but they're very similar in the sense of like their strengths over just using the desktop app that is Codex and Claude. Now, it's my belief that Claude, they didn't go after Peter for a reason, because they're trying to build out their own agent infrastructure. But is it going to be as flexible as OpenClaw? I don't think so. I think that a lot of these frontier AI models and frontier enterprise companies, they're creating agents that are, I don't want to say dumbed down, but easier to configure. But to piggyback off of the easier to configure, there's going to be less customization with those options, right? Whereas something like OpenClaw and Hermes is an open source. Correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Baker, but OpenClaw is open source, right? They're fully customizable. People can create their own versions of OpenClaw to fit a specific use case. So it's all about having that imagination of what do you want to accomplish? What do you want to build? I think Codex and Claude Code are very great tools. I mean, you can operate OpenClaw and Hermes without them if you choose other models or a local model, but primarily they do require, whether it's a Codex subscription or I hear some people using Claude Code CLI and getting away with it with OpenClaw. I haven't had much success, so I stopped trying. But that's just, the surface level response for you. I can dig a little bit deeper if you give me a specific industry or use case. But that's just my initial brain dump for you. I didn't know Hermes was open source. For some reason, I thought it was closed. Good to know. Welcome back, Ice. It's been a while. How you doing? Yeah, of course. Hey, all good. I started a few minutes late, so I mean, you're only 20 minutes late. That's all good. Welcome. Thanks for coming back. How you doing today? Yeah, I hope that gives you some insight into my perspective behind it. But if you have a specific question as far as like industry specific or workflow specific, I can definitely elaborate further. Now, does everyone need one? Probably not, right? Can everyone benefit from one? Sure. Yes, definitely. But does everyone have the patience to learn how to deploy OpenClaw? It's becoming easier. There's a lot of one-click solutions out there, but I'm a big data guy, and I'd rather control my data and not rely on VPS or rely on a one-click solution that if something happens on their end, my agent's dead, right? That's why backups are also very important. I can't stress it enough. I've been screaming that for months. Always back up your systems, especially if you're on VPS, especially if you're hosted on a one-click solution. That way, if something happens, you can restore that in another environment. Yo, what's up, F-World? What are you talking about? How did I install what? I'm gonna... Nice. It's working. Excuse me. And let's pull up the console log. Interesting. That's good to hear. That's good to hear. Likewise, man. We haven't stopped. We have a new format here, if you couldn't tell. There's not much structure to it early on, but I'm building out my first front-facing, public-facing rather, OS, and this is going to serve as a toolkit to help everyone reach that goal. That's in the title here. So we'll get to building that in a second. I just want to close out a few other tasks first. Waiting on Muddy to get back to me there. Oh, and also shout out to, I believe it was John yesterday. We fixed the issue on ClawCrib. Should be working now. I'm just going to write ASD. It should detect that ASD is not a response. Yeah, okay. And I kind of optimized it a little bit more. I realized that a lot of the burn rate for that API key was happening because it was loading the entire LLM text file from docs.openclaw.ai. So we created a more intelligent approach where not only did we break down that text file by chapter, but we first detect what the question is and which files to search through. That way it's not loading up. I think it was like 5 million lines of, or 5 million characters. I forget the number, but it was something that was causing Gemini to error out every time we would try to prompt the help or the build tool. So great alternative. We're finally going to start testing these builds, optimizing the site slowly but surely. It was something I read somewhere, right? That you're absolutely right. How did I install it? I installed it through a simple command line. A little late, but I'm here. Welcome back, Raymond. Thanks for being here. Could have sworn I gave Codex CLI access for everything, but let's double check. Yeah, it does. Yeah, brain fart on my end. I mean, it's obvious that it is. I just forget where I read something. That's the problem with briefly reading through Twitter posts and news articles. That was my mistake for sure. Go back to Muddy. Where are we at? I mean, he's back online. I'm wondering if it's a day where we update it. Let me do a quick snapshot of this VM, and then we'll do a quick update. So it'll take a few minutes there. Yeah, right on. Good to hear. Good to hear. Listen, I set up the default Discord auto mod stuff, and for the most part, it was doing a good job. I think it was being overprotective, but now what I did was, instead of it blocking messages outright, it allows them through, but then I get pinged in the command center. That way, like once a week, I can go through them, or I can configure an agent to go through them to validate. But I think that requires a little human interaction just for now. I'm so glad I didn't take a big sip of that coffee. That's still hot. Ooh. That's one I want to watch. Yeah, yesterday we set up, I recorded some videos setting up OpenClaw again with Windows because it's become easier than it was in the past with the other video that I did. I don't think I'm going to use this one. I'd rather use it within a VMware deployment because I want to migrate that to the server. But I need to create the one for the next bootcamp, which is going to be building an OpenClaw setup for project management using ChatGPT subs. That's going to be the use case that we're targeting. So if anybody wants to see anything specific for the next bootcamp, let me know for OpenClaw. Oh, and also you can see some props that are kind of live ahead of their time of before the video goes live. Yeah, the shared agent chat, as well as this one, which is for beginners mostly. All right. It's weird how Muddy didn't close the loop here. I know we're about to update it, but the snapshot is almost done. It's at 90% saved. Ooh, that's a nice layer to add on there. So the one I recorded yesterday, or one of the few videos I recorded yesterday, was just how to install the VM itself on VMware Workstation Pro. We start off with a fresh install of Windows and a fresh install of VMware Workstation. And then we go from there, step by step. And then we also installed OpenClaw. But it was very basic, right? I didn't configure OpenClaw because it was meant to be a demo account that I'm not going to reuse. I do have a beginner-friendly approach coming to where as we build out a new system, I kind of give tips and tricks of ideas of what to do, how to build it, etc., etc. But that's a little further delayed. What do you mean once you find... All right, so, I mean, put your thinking cap on here. So, in theory, it would make my life easier to have a shared database and shared authentication layer. But the one thing I don't want to occur is for the database to be overwritten when we connect a new subdomain. So, should we just create separate databases and auth layers for each subdomain? What are your thoughts here? Or can we make this work without overriding any existing data? Gateway is restarting again. Interesting. All right, snapshot's done. Let's just update. This is going to be a big jump. I mean, it's been, what, at least 2 weeks? Might take a little bit. Interesting. I don't know. I feel like this desire of a shared auth. I'm not sure we're going to be able to pull that off for labs. All right, I'm gonna curb that for this live stream. I'm gonna handle this off air because I want to think about this a little bit more. Yo, what's up, Ryan? A lot of updates. I've been asking it for playback to change logs, to look for changes rather than just looking at the most recent. Smart, smart. Since I'm so far behind, I'm just YOLOing with the most recent. We'll see what happens. That's what I wanted to do on here. Let that run. I mean, it's long, huh? All right. This is why we back up. Just let it do its thing. Interesting. Yo, good morning. Not much. We're just vibing here. We're just getting started. Just finished giving eyes to my OpenClaw. Interesting. Please elaborate. Just updated this morning. Seems stable so far. I've had a good look. But when you did the websites, where did you go for the domain? Or does it cost? Or does the agent still have access to it? What do you mean exactly? Are you talking about for Clearmud? I have that managed through my web hosting. Well, I have a domain registrar where I'll buy domains, and then I have a completely separate hosting account that handles DNS records when I bring in that domain, when I essentially point the name servers to that account. But I think maybe that's not what you're asking. I think it's because this is a completely different account. What's up, Whoosh? Welcome back. First thing I wanted to do is greet the customer. So when my OpenClaw sees any human subject in the camera, it greets them. Nice, nice. I mean, I presumed it was camera related, but I was curious. I was very curious. One more quick restart. Yeah, none of, mainly just Clearmud.ai is the only one live. The others I'm still working on, right? First layer of welcoming customer through OpenClaw and the cafe. Not much big thing. I mean, hey, that's a part of the onboarding, right? It's the part of the user experience. I think it is a big thing. I think nailing each step properly, you know, sets that foundation to make sure it works every single time. What's up, Fourth? Oh, I see what you did. Fourth Soil, Mudsters. Welcome back. How you doing today? I mean, it could have been my interpretation. I don't think it was you. I think it was both of us equally, if anything. All right, we're on 5.6 now. Welcome back. Let's try giving this a hard refresh. I'm not sure if I had done that. Nope, he's still giving the same bug. Interesting. Looks like the way we have this chat configured. Okay, now he's finally responding. We'll give it a moment. We'll just give it a moment. If anything, what I can do, I haven't done this in a while. Let's update this VM. Let's see what kind of updates there are. And we'll do a reboot on the VM and just restart it. I haven't done this in weeks. Okay, just all Brave and Ubuntu related stuff, so we'll let that run. Oh, did I just close that install? Yeah, I agree. I agree. Yo, what's up, Sharma? Welcome back. How we doing today? True, I want some tips from you to create a dashboard for such business. What do you suggest? What should I use? Are you talking about from the consumer front-facing perspective, or this is an admin more related dashboard? Or are you talking about a dashboard for something completely different than your vending? Also, I'm from Scotland, so my wording can be confusing. Ah, it's all good. It's all good. We all speak the universal language, you know? Ah, yeah, I mean, I can tell by how long this is taking to update, so it's good to do this maintenance at least once a month on VMs. But I don't do them every day or every week for that matter. I generally backlog them for... Ah, okay, okay. Yeah, I can give you some tips. I mean, you're going to use OpenClaw to build it out, right? Or are you more so using OpenClaw for the operations and you want to build and manage a dashboard from another system? What are you thinking here? I would think you build it out within OpenClaw. And one place I would go for inspiration and to copy paste links to your OpenClaw agent, go to shadcn blocks, and you don't want to go to templates because, you know, people sell templates, right? We're not here to buy templates. What we want to do is go check components. Where is it? I think it's actually under blocks. And then you can check app up here, application set shell, dashboard, sidebar. So you can kind of get a feel for like finding something that looks cool that you like. And then as you're building out your dashboard, you say, hey, I would personally just, like, for example, grab this, copy this URL, feed it to your agent and say, hey, check out this application shell. I want to build a dashboard for what we're doing based off of this skeleton, right? So then it knows like that foundation you want to start with. And then you start adding layer on layer on layer. Unless you want to build it from scratch. I mean, for Muddy OS, when I first built them out, if you go look at live streams from January, I think, you see like the early iterations of it. It looked nothing like this. I essentially had Opus build me a mission control, a dashboard, and then I slowly started chipping away at it. You probably don't want to take that approach. It's not the most efficient approach, but that's how I did it. And now, as you can see, like, I just love this nav, right? The tabs across the top, the modules that control the tabs. I'm replicating that in Labs OS because I like it, and I think everyone will like it once this goes public. Clearmud OS is a little different, right? This is a content creation tool, so it looks slightly different. But Product OS, I also adopted that same look and feel, right? But like, listen, I didn't see someone who had this. I just started chipping away at the initial version that Opus 4.5 at the time, or 4. I can't even remember what version it was. Right on, right on. Well, dude, thanks for being here. I appreciate you. So you probably, if you were tuning into those live streams, you probably remember me like teasing the dashboard that I was slowly building out. I didn't build it entirely in public, right? But I would always reference it in the early stages. Not necessarily to show it off, but to use it while I was on a live stream. Yeah, this weekend, is Mother's Day weekend. She's actually stopping by today, which is nice, always nice. But I don't know if I'm going to, and depending in the world, wherever in the world you are, if your mother's still alive, give her a call, show her some love. And if she's not, may she rest in peace. You know, I know that's the circle of life, but I really want to do a lot of MuddyOS related infra work this weekend, but with certain family obligations, I think I'm going to have to delay that for next week. Because a lot needs to be done to MuddyOS since I moved back to this time zone. Some things I've been delaying, you know. Yeah, I hope that answers your question, right? Like, you could also just have Codex build you one and then chip away at it the way I did with MuddyOS, right? But if you want to replicate MuddyOS, I have a video that's on backlog where I break down how I built it and then I give master prompts to build your own. But since I made that video prop, a lot has changed. So I delayed the posting of that video because I need to re-record it, obviously. But if you want to replicate this, just screenshot this live stream and have your agent build out a skeleton of MuddyOS and obviously rename it whatever you want to rename it. But for your use case, though, I have a feeling that something like this would feel not only more functional, more professional, more on brand, easier to manage, right? I know I'm looking at an inbox application shell. Let's go look at a different one. I mean, look, this even has a modular switcher right here. And then this has like a more professional feel to it. This feels more like a point of sale dashboard, right? And I feel like that's, correct me if I'm wrong, for your vending initiative, it's like you probably want something more like this, right? Man. Now, I still like my top menu bar, personally. This is actually a cool module switcher, though, on shadcn. Interesting. Huh. I do like it. I do like it a lot. Oh, I can close this. We're not in CMux today. Let's go back to Muddy. We're trying to bring him back to life. Yo! Oh, we didn't restart, did we? Ha! That's what happens when I wake up a little later than usual and I haven't had my at least 2 cups of coffee before stream. Oh, right on. Well, dude, I'm flattered. I'm happy that the early stages of MuddyOS inspired you. But I'm like, we're all unique human beings, right? We're all unique individuals. What works for me, what I like, the layouts I like is not necessarily what you're going to like. And I have a feeling if you do try to clone it, chances are in the coming weeks or months, you'll start to adapt it to fit your needs, to fit your kind of personality, so to speak. Yo, what's up, Johnny? Welcome back. How you doing today? Oh, nice, nice. Listen, I don't want to take credit for this whole OS thing, but I can't, like, I just called it OS, right? Because I'm building my own operating system for my OpenClaw agent infrastructure. I don't know who else was saying OS, but now I'm seeing OS everywhere and I'm loving it. Absolutely loving it. Using 6 more GPU, which will have different agents say on OpenClaw instance, and the main will orchestrate them. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, happy to help, man. Thanks for the questions, you know? All right, did this? There's no way that rebooted already, did it? I was looking off screen. Did that? No, because it would have requested a password to log back in. Okay, let's just force a restart. Jensen had said it, OpenClaw is OS for the AI. Nice, nice. Hey, this right here, just making any bit of progress. You know, it's always my goal to finish one new thing every day, at least one. I generally have a list of 3, but like 3 things that move the needle on any given day. But when you make progress, even if it's just a sliver, it feels so good. So that's good to hear. All right, so everything should come back online by itself. Let's just wait a moment. There we are. Hey, yo. Okay. He's chatting back. A little slow. I just said Ayo. What's going on? Yo, Matthew. Nice. New toy? Sorry to hear it's a pain to set up. What's the difficulty? So I'm using a what is this? I think this is a StarTech dock. Yeah. The one I have in Portugal is not a USB-C. So I actually have to use a dongle to plug in other things. But this one is a USB-C. So I haven't had to do that. It's awesome. But I still do use this 27 that's in front of me. That one's plugged in via USB-C because it serves as a docking station charging port for the laptop. So I don't have to plug it in independently with power. But then this monitor is off of HDMI and that does route through the dock. And pretty much everything else routes through the dock except for Bluetooth devices. Wait, one other thing is actually... What is that? Where's that coming from? Should we test it live? I can't remember, but apparently I have 2 USB-Cs plugged into the left. Hey, yo, I'm here. Status, no active interrupted work. Okay, right on. We just updated you to 5.6, I believe. Double check your OpenClaw version. I had asked you a question before the gateway restart, but you essentially locked up, which is what encouraged me to update OpenClaw. Oh, and as I was voice to text transcribing this prompt, your gateway just went offline and it says waiting for gateway. So there seems to be a weird intermittent issue where I'm sitting here in chat in Muddy Ops, right? Muddy OS Ops. And the gateway just temporarily goes offline. It eventually does come back online. We got to look into what's causing this because this is really affecting the reliability of this OS and this chat. All right. Did that prompt just disappear? It did just disappear. Interesting. Interesting. We'll give it a moment. Just give it a brief moment here. Also might not be a bad idea to pull up its dashboard and its TY. Wait, is that an old token or is this token gonna work? Pretty sure this is an old token. Yeah. I honestly can't forget we reset these quite a bit. So let's close out. I would say my biggest, excuse me, the one thing I hate the most is all the hotkey differences on VMs. What is it? OpenClaw dashboard? Or is it OpenClaw gateway no run or OpenClaw gateway run? All right. This should open it for us though. There we go. Okay, so my prompt is there. What happened here on the front end? It disappeared altogether. Interesting. Yeah, one thing I just discovered here is the last prompt I gave you disappeared. So I opened up the VM, went to your dashboard, and I can see the prompts there and your responses there. So it looks like this chat interface within MuddyOS ops needs some TLC, some tender love and care. I guess I'll just paste it in here because I know the hotkey for Mac to paste in the most recent transcribe. One quick question, since you're a network engineer, it might have worked in Linux. Yep. I got stuck in a case where I was trying to make my main orchestrator, main OpenClaw to talk to the rest. Excuse me. Oh, here, I'll come back to this, Johnny, in a sec. Say I have 6 more OpenClaw in those 6 PCs, and my goal is to let the main OpenClaw give instruction to the other OpenClaw agents. I've been trying to solve it for the past 2 days with buggy Lux. Interesting. Okay, so this is one thing specifically. So you're talking about completely separate sandboxed OpenClaw gateways, correct? They have their own IP address, their own local IP address on your network. Or do you have all of these gateways installed on one machine? Because to give you a brief response, I'm testing that, not as we speak, but in the coming week or two. As I build out other OpenClaw setups, I'm going to have them communicate, and they're going to be completely separate gateways. But as of now, I haven't successfully done that because I honestly haven't successfully tried to link 2 separate gateways together. So I don't have an exact answer for you on how to fix it. But I will know in about a week or so. You now inspire me to at least get that testing, get that working within the next week or so. All right, Johnny, it's a simple app that reads a PCL file and parses out some data and updates cells in an Excel file. Nice. Is this something just for you, just for your business, or the company you work for? Forgive me, I can't remember if you're a business owner. Or is this an idea for a SaaS product to sell? Fusion Dock Max 2. Ooh, I'm jealous. Grats. I have not bought an M5 yet. I'm kind of waiting at this moment because I'm shopping around for an old M4 through refurbished resellers. I'm trying to look for a battery count with less than 5 cycles. Or did I word that correctly? Yeah. A less than 5 battery life cycle count to know that it's like rather new. But listen, I'm coming up from an M1, so I'm not going to notice a big difference between the M4 and the M5. And it's my belief going from M1 to M4 should be plenty enough. And I'm also aiming, I'd like to have 128 gigs of RAM on the new MacBook. So that's why I'm not even looking at the M3s. Ah, okay. Very nice. Nice. Are you getting any ideas? Are you restricted in any way from taking this knowledge? Obviously not sensitive data, but the knowledge of what you're building and then turning it into a retail or consumer front-facing tool. I went from Intel to M5. Oh my goodness. What generation of Intel, out of curiosity? And was it an i9 or an i7? Or an i5 for that matter? And I'm guessing it was an Intel Mac, right? So that would have been 7th, 8th gen. Was the last time they did a Mac, right? Trying to remember the last Mac Intel generation. I want to say it was 2019, and that would have been roughly 8th or 9th, if I'm not mistaken. Possibly 7th. No, all their own network. Okay. Listen, I'm looking forward to testing this. And maybe I turn it into a video, you know, how to connect two separate OpenClaw gateway agents to communicate with one another. I think that'd be a killer video, right? But first, before I even think about recording it, I have to do it and understand it. That way I'm not spending hours on a recording. I'd rather spend 20 to 30 minutes on the recording, but we're going to spend hours and hours testing beforehand. Hours and days, for that matter. Here's one more tip. I'll ask your OpenClaw to create a system that when you take a pic in Discord, it scans them and saves them in a proper finance format. This is great for a personal assistant right here. Excuse me. It's a great idea. I don't have this. I don't use OpenClaw as a personal assistant. I had to put the one I was building via VPS hosting on hold for my personal side of life because it just wasn't a priority for me during that time. But I will, you know, now that I'm back in this creative environment, there's just something about this studio, I must say, that's different than that basement I work out of in Portugal. Just like the creative juices just flow all day, all night. Like, it's tough for me to sleep here because I get an idea late at night and I just walk to the front of the apartment to my laboratory, so to speak, and I get to work. You know, I love it. I love it. I just need to make sure I manage that disconnect time a little better. Jeez, that was a big jump. Did you max out this M5? What are the specs, out of curiosity? On it. It's on my list. Let's actually go ahead and just make a template script for that. So I add it to my content calendar. I am going to actively do this on the side, right? But let's handle it. How I have two OpenClaw gateways talking to each other. Nice, nice. That's a big jump, man. That's a big jump. That is a big jump. Oh, that's not good. So this is from the most recent OpenClaw update because I literally ran a script this morning before we started 1 hour ago off of our old version. Okay, looks like he's still working, but the gateway keeps rebooting on its own. Huh. So that is obviously, I'm guessing, why that didn't run. Let's try it again. So I don't think the update killed it. I think I just tried to run a script output when the gateway was cycling there. All right. Well, today is looking like an IT support type of day for our system because as much as I wanted to work on Labs OS, we've been sidetracked and that's okay. That's good to hear. That's awesome, man. I'm happy for you because that's a big, big jump right there. The i3 to the M1 is a big enough jump, but then you go from the M1 to the M5. I mean, ooh, that's awesome. Yeah, so that's what I meant, the knowledge, right? So if you were to obviously not take any code or data whatsoever, but you take the knowledge and you build something that might cross the lines of being similar, but for consumers or for small to mid-sized companies or for different industries, right? can you do that? Because sounds like you're getting all that experience you need to come up with that $1 million annual reoccurring revenue idea right there. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm glad we're on the same page there. Yeah, I wasn't talking about taking the code base. Yeah, you definitely don't want to do that. Yo, just stopping by, working on a piano right now in someone's house. Hey, thank you, TJ. Thanks for stopping by. Appreciate you. I hope you have a good, easy repair there. And I'd tell you good luck, but you know what you're doing. So I hope you finish up quickly and swiftly. Okay, I think that's strategy one. I mean, I like the way that sounds. No, that's kind of misleading, that strategy. Okay. Yeah. One it is. Nice. Yeah, it's always good to have a health checker or a system health check to kind of just make sure things are online, right? Yo, what's up, Derek? How you doing today? It's really annoying to see the yellow text in the gateway and those red errors in my workflow, so I just made the gateway in stealth mode. Nice. I love it. Nice, nice. Let's go. All right, recovered here. Did we get this response in our chat? Let's see. We did, okay. Now, out of curiosity, can you confirm that this is related to the most recent OpenClaw update? I just want to have a better understanding of the root cause of this, right? Because, and here it is again, the gateway is just restarting as I'm prompting you. So we're still having this kind of intermittent gateway glitch where it reboots, and you're probably going to read off of the bootmd shortly. Yep, it did it again. Interesting. Another day in the life. Doing good, doing good. Today has turned into kind of optimizing system, troubleshooting a muddy OS issue, an OpenClaw issue. Haven't been able to work on labs quite yet. We were briefly working on Portal earlier. I curbed it because I really want to think a little bit more in depth about the shared database and shared auth layer across all of our domains and subdomains for Clearmud.ai. I think for labs, we're going to, like, I'm already thinking ahead. We're going to create a separate database and auth layer for that, I think is the move. But I still need to do a little bit more research before I make a decision there. So yeah, we're just vibing. We're just vibing. People are sharing their ideas in chat, trying to just answer as many questions as possible, help as much as I can. Yeah, so my OC was acting funky this morning, so I updated. Now we're just kind of troubleshooting throughout that process, right? So I can't say for sure it was related to the update, but We're running into this weird intermittent issue where the gateway keeps rebooting itself. And then I think in the meantime, I might as well multitask here. I don't need to turn this part into a video. So let's go ahead and create a VM here. We're going to use Ubuntu Desktop for this one, or should we use Ubuntu Server? No, I feel like I should turn that into... What do we want to call this one? Because I'm actually going to use this. I don't think I want to base it off anything. Let's, I'm going to pull this off screen because I do want to keep the troubleshooting highlighted here. An invalid username? What are you talking about? Interesting. We'll give this 250 gigs because I will keep it. All right, we have that one coming up online. Was that timed every 5 minutes? I feel like it was quicker than that. All right, we'll continue testing for the next hour and see how this goes. Thanks for the discovery. Thanks for the report. Now, was that watchdog timer for Clay? What agent was responsible for that watchdog timer? Was that in Clay's workspace or Muddy's workspace? Yo, what's up, John? Nice. Well, hey, thanks again for bringing ClawCrib to my attention. Should be working now. Go ahead and give it a test. Let me know what you think. Fixed that last night. Feels like OC should update every Sunday or something. Work on tweaks, test during the week, then release. Yeah, I feel like that would be a better approach, but listen, they're trying to be proactive, and I guess I understand the perspective of kind of updating when they need to, because especially if there's a security vulnerability or something they discover that they need to harden, it makes sense to kind of push that right away. What is that sound? Was that VMware? That's hilarious. That was. Yeah, I decided I'm gonna give this one a Ubuntu desktop, because I do want to give it certain responsibilities where it has its own workspace, browser, etc., etc. That's not headless, right? So interactive. Let's actually go back. Now we're good. Install. No encryption. We're calling this one OpticClaw. And what do I want the password to be for this one? Ooh, that's a good one. All right. And we'll select Los Angeles, hit next. And we're good to go. Let that install. Looks like we haven't had another restart. Oh, it was Muddy Ops, not Clay owned, huh? But it was a Discord, so that I guess that was a Muddy. Interesting. So it existed partly for Clay, but ownership was my ops layer, not Clay's workspace. Interesting. All good. Thanks for identifying it. Looks like the gateway is stable as of now. I will report back. All right, I'm going to take a quick break, and then we'll BRB. And we'll get started on Labs OS, because I think we're at a good point to do that. So I'm just going to leave that open. super quiet right now because I'm cooking over here too. Now, are you, you know how much I love to cook, but I'm also kind of gullible. Are you actually cooking or are you just cooking with your agents? Would be rad if the future was some multiplex vibe coding stream. One person can talk at a time, but have 3 to 4 screens building. Hey, that is not a bad idea. I really like that. Ooh, nice. Nice. I have a friend of a friend who works at an Apple store. So right now I'm trying to source first an M4 that I want with a certain specs, and then I'm going to compare it to getting a brand new M5 with that discount to see, is it the same? Is it cheaper? Is it more? That's awesome. Sheesh. I'll be honest, I'm in between getting the 16-inch or the 14-inch. I like the size of the 14. But I'm not opposed to, like, when I'm traveling more and doing video editing off of the laptop, the small screen is really annoying. It's not a deal breaker, but it's just very, very annoying. So, but going with the 16, yes, there's better heat distribution, right? In theory, it should last longer because of the better heat distribution, right? But I know it draws more power. So I'm going to have to completely upgrade a few things because, if I'm not mistaken, it's like it requires a 140 watt charger or something like that, whereas this only requires a 96 watt charger. So like, that's like, those are the little things I'm thinking about. It's like, oh, is the bigger screen worth it for me? Because when I'm in my offices in Europe and here, I have a docking, I have a 27-inch I work off of, or 2, right? But it's those off chances where I'm working out of an airport or I'm working out of an Airbnb and I didn't bring any external monitors. The 16 is where it would be ideal. Everyone wants to cook except for the guy who owns the restaurant. That was out of stock when you needed to buy. I'm not surprised, right? With memory being the way it is right now. Oh, I know, I own one. Good luck any Apple around. I just picked up the last M4 Pro 24 on Amazon. Wow, nice. It's a good deal right there. Bigger is always better, says Johnny. Johnny 5. Oh, what's up, Coy? Hey, all good. Thanks for stopping by. I appreciate you. Have a good day at work. Look at you guys. Sounds like you guys have to talk one-on-one. Sheesh. Nice. I mean, listen, I'm all about good food. Can I pull up your restaurants on stream right now? Do you want some free 20 viewer advertisement? let's pop open those restaurants. Let's go take a look at that cuisine. I think I know the name of Derek's. I'm not 100% sure though, but I know the type of cuisine, and I keep saying target audience just in general, but like there's a reason we're both in here. Oh, nice. Anything specific? Any type of cuisine? I've been on an Italian kick, primarily wood-fired oven related pizzas. No, it's more pizzeria, but anything baked or cooked in a wood-fired oven, chef's kiss. Oh. So for those just tuning in, we are actually deploying a fresh VM. This is actually going to be something I use long term. So if you're curious on how to set it up, just kind of rewind a little bit. I show the steps. We're Italian, so okay. Listen, you never know. You never know. Maybe you went with a different opportunity, right? Depending on the demographic of the area of the restaurant. You know what I mean? Said I would never do this, and I had 4 restaurants, 3 food trucks going, and 7 kids. I smarten up. 1 restaurant now, 2 trucks, and still 7 kids. Well, yeah, you can't change the number of kids, you know? But the fact that you had 7 total restaurants between restaurants and food trucks, and then 7 kids, that's wild. That's a lot of work right there. If I didn't know any better, you like the number 7. All right, in the meantime, I do want to pull up notes on my iPad and start working on Labs OS just a touch. Okay, listen, it looks like it's stable now, which is great. But I feel like now I'm having a brain fart. What was I doing earlier that I noticed? So we updated. I gave him a prompt to do something. I guess I can just check back in my Whisperflow transcripts instead. That's probably the smarter move. Let's see. So that would have been definitely over half an hour ago. Yep. Put your thinking cap on here. Nope, that was for Codex. Aha. Oh no, all my prompts were related to what has been fixed. Okay, great. So that explains why Telegram was still going through. I noticed Telegram was going through later than usual too, by minutes. He was a chef in the army. He owned and sold them as they got successful. He's sadly gone. Rest in peace. Rest in peace. You know, circle of life. But may he rest in peace. But that sounds pretty accomplished right there. Serving your country, owning some restaurants, selling them. It's a very successful life, if you ask me. You know. I'm a 7 guy, so it's like I'm a big. All right, let's go off topic here. Are there any Messi fans in the chat? Because it's Ronaldo all the way for me. Number 7. Number 7 all day, all day. So that's like rooted on, and also it was my dad's go-kart racing number. Kind of just adopted the number from him and Ronaldo. One restaurant, 1 IT business, 1 consulting business, 2 kids, 3 dogs, and still sane. I'm sure your kids are a joy, but it's probably the 3 dogs that are keeping you sane. I'm also a big dog lover. So. Listen, this year we put all the debate to rest of who's better, Messi versus Ronaldo. Yes, Messi does have a World Cup title. I get it. But I still think Ronaldo's better. Fight me. But this year, I mean, World Cup is here in the States. If we make the final, I might just have to fly back to Portugal early just to experience that country during a World Cup. Because even though the World Cup's not being hosted there, the vibe, the energy of a country in their home country when they're in the cup, unparalleled. And I don't think I would want to miss that, you know? Unless I get tickets to the final somehow, some way, you know? Then I'd go to the final. But that's only if Portugal makes it to the end. Which I think we have a very strong fighting chance to do so this year. But I'm biased, so. All right. Let me just pull up a few notes, and then we're just going to start vibing through the OS. Somebody in chat yesterday talked about distribution, and I thought that was a very good point, right? It's easy to build things. It's easy to bring ideas to life, but what about distribution related tools? So as of now, our 3 modules on LabOS are experiments, our laboratory, so to speak, an agents module, as well as a distribution module. I'm not sure why it chose this icon. But let me know if I'm missing something. I think these are the 3 most important modules to build out right now. And I'm honestly going to use Muddy, my executive assistant. I'm distracted here. I heard they shut things down for, which is amazing. We love sports here in New England and Boston area, but we ain't shutting down. Well, isn't it being hosted across the United States? So it's not like it's not East versus West. World Cup 2026 stadium list map. Let's try to visualize it here. Okay, here we go. It's exactly what I was looking for. Okay, so there's going to be a few in Canada. I didn't know that. Makes sense. Toronto, Vancouver. Okay. They're just right over the border. Okay, Boston, Gillette, MetLife, Philly, Atlanta. That makes sense. Miami should be. Okay, Levi Stadium. Interesting. So it's also part Mexico. For some reason, I thought it was just the United States. So it's a North America World Cup, essentially is what it is. Got it. Kansas City. Ew, that old stadium? Come on now. Because that new stadium's not going to be ready until, what, 2030 that they're building out? That's just because of the popularity. I swear, if they didn't go on that dynasty quote unquote run, they would not be on this list at all. I feel like Arizona should be on this list, and it's not. But it's because they haven't won any titles or you know, like done anything significant recently. So, but Arizona, I feel like would be an awesome stadium. Wow. Huh. And even Minnesota, like Minnesota's not on here? Very interesting. Seattle, the vibe there. Okay, I get that. SoFi, I mean, yeah, that makes sense. That's a nice stadium. Huh. Yeah, interesting. It just gave me an idea. Yeah, Gillette Stadium near us in the middle of nowhere. Wait, so are you very close to the Gillette Stadium? Gillette will be a shit show, legit, one way in, one way out. Yeah. So I've heard. I'm not going anywhere near New York or Boston. I may go see the Toronto. Nice. Ah, haha. Let's see. Oh, the new. Are you really? MetLife is gonna host the final? Interesting. Okay. Okay. An hour? That's close. That's a hop, skip, and a step away right there. Yo, what's up, Barika? Here in Dallas, it's been crazy with all of the World Cup prep. I bet. Are you gonna, if you get an opportunity to go to a game, will you? Out of curiosity? That AT&T Stadium I have not been to yet. All right, let's close. Yeah, we can close that for now. Let's go back to our fresh OpenClaw setup we're deploying here. We start now. Why is this mouse disappearing? Give it a second here. Ah, okay. Okay, respect. You know your sport. Like, I'm not even gonna waste any time going to a soccer game. Nice. I mean, wait, is that hockey or I'm thinking baseball, but I can't remember if there is a Rangers in hockey, but I'm guessing baseball. I was always an Oakland fan. I mean, we went to the Oakland Stadium when we were in school, Oakland Coliseum, because those tickets were so cheap when I was younger, you know, back then. But since they moved, it's like, well, they technically haven't moved, but they have, right? The stadium isn't being used anymore. I believe they already had their last day. So I used to go to the Giants Stadium a lot too, right over the bridge. All right, let's continue this fresh setup. Okay, baseball. That's what I thought. That's what I thought. I know there's a Rangers hockey team, but I don't think it's Texas. I think it's another state. But right on, right on. Yeah, I used to watch baseball a lot when I was younger, but now that I'm older, not as much. Nothing against baseball. I'm a football guy, both American football and traditional football. No. No. We got to install VMware tools here because this resolution is out of whack. Default. Finish. All right. I think I just have to reboot it, maybe? Hold on. Let's go to settings. See why this resolution is just so out of whack here. Yeah, it's got a 16. Okay, we should be good here. Let's just do 1920 by 1080. And then I guess I'll just scale to fit. All right, that works. And I'm gonna take a snapshot. Fresh OS. All right. Let's go ahead and install OpenClaw on this one, shall we? Hey, Amar, welcome. Thanks for being here. Out of curiosity, what brought you here? How'd you find the channel? Today we're vibing. We're vibing. We did a whole bunch of troubleshooting early on. We updated my main OpenClaw setup. We're also doing a fresh OpenClaw setup right now for another initiative. And then we're going to be working on the toolkit that is related to the title of this video, where I help you reach 1 million in annual reoccurring revenue. So that's my goal. If you need help building anything, drop a comment in chat. I'm always happy to help. This idea just started from an idea, and we're kind of building it as we go. We're doing it live, so to speak. So there's no preset course or curriculum or anything like that. We're just live streaming 5 days a week here. But I'd be curious to see, did you find me through one of our long form videos or live streams? All right, let's copy that. I believe we're going to need to install a few things. Yeah. My goodness, I can't type this morning. Ah, so it's New York. It's New York. Okay. TJ knows. I knew I wasn't hallucinating there. Appreciate you, TJ. I used to love the A's back in the 90s with Ricky Henderson, McGuire. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I was very young, but I started, I think I want to say I started going late 90s, early 2000s. Because I remember moving cities in 99. But before I moved cities, when I was still in a previous city, that's when I, like, the years before that, I mean, we were kids, right? Not interested in baseball back then. Nice. Trying to build something to automate your e-commerce business. Nice, nice. What particularly, like, what part of your business, what part of your workflows? Is it customer service related? Is it managing your stores? Like, this is the place to share your ideas, share what you're building, you know? And for us to just chat. I'm not the only one that answers questions. A lot of the times, you know, other people in chat will kind of chime in when they have something to say, which I always encourage. That was a great era. Also been meaning to send you a message. Love some of the things you're doing with your OC setup. Let's go. Let's go. Acquire had some crazy wheels on him. Didn't he go through like a steroid debacle? I mean, I guess every baseball player who becomes famous does, but was that McGuire? I can't remember. This is not me throwing shade on him. That is a legendary name right there. You know what I mean? All I did was baseball from the age of 4 to 17. Nice, nice. Wow, this resolution's incredibly low. It looks good on stream though. All right, let's now try to install. There we go. Okay. I just remember the headlines of like, but I feel like every single record-setting baseball player has in some way, shape, or form used some type of PED. It's just the nature of the game, you know? It's just when they become so damn like polarizing and popular and household names, that's when the scrutiny comes. Had he not done any of that, like nobody would have ever cared nor known, you know? When is it a good time or reason to run a new OpenClaw or Hermes? I think when you're building out, I think it's more specific as to if what you want to automate or the team that you want to create cannot be co-located with your existing setup, then you set up a separate one. This one's for a future idea of mine. But I'm also going to clone this and use it as a bootcamp demo. I'm going to use it as a demo to, as we said earlier in chat, we're going to be linking together separate OpenClaw gateways and having them communicate with one another. So this is just like that foundation that I'm setting up, and then I'm going to clone it a few times for demo purposes. But OptiClaw is something I'm going to use long term. I don't want to say too much on it yet, but what's beauty about this is once it's set up from scratch, I can then clone this VM, create different instances, and not have to reconfigure it, reinstall the VM, reset everything up. You know what I mean? Just saves me time in the long run. And we are going to use our, wow, I have to scroll a long way here. OpenAI Codex, browser login. We're just going to take this off screen really quickly. We are full screen, aren't we? That's why. Do not save that. Two-factor. Where are you at? Where are you at? There it is. Authentication successful. So we can bring that over here. We're going to keep current. And I'm not going to set anything up for now. I'm just going to skip. We'll do all that later. I'm going to skip this too. No, we can set these up as we need them. I don't need these yet. No, 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 no. We'll set that up shortly. We just want to get up and running. And let's open up the web UI instead. All right, we're up. Whoops. Let's put that off to the right. Why is it not applying this? That's weird. Release. There we go. There we go. Nice. Hey, yo. Let's actually go in. Want to make sure the medium reasoning is applied. That's my favorite for agents at this moment. Wait for that to load. Oh, let's catch up on comments. Forgive me. That's when baseball was fun. McGuire and Sosa, battle for the home run crown. Who did the most juice? Love it. Let's go. Yeah, that was a great question, Level Up. I'm using VMware Workstation Pro because I am setting it up on a Windows-based PC. But the reason I'm using VMware Workstation Pro is because I can copy paste the VM into my VMware ESXi environment. Once I'm currently maxing out the memory on that old server, I'm going to redeploy it probably next weekend. And then I'm going to migrate all of my VMs I actually actively use onto that server. And it's going to be as simple as me copy pasting into there. Whereas if I were to use something like, I haven't used Proxmox personally, but if I were to use anything off-brand from the VMware kind of umbrella, it's not an easy copy paste into that server architecture. Like Parallels, VirtualBox, it requires some tinkering and some fine tuning to get that working on that server. So, but I've heard Proxmox enough. It feels like I should install it for the sake of testing it. Matthew knows. Matthew knows. Neo looks interesting. Wait, are you talking about my product OS or is this something completely different? AMP code? Oh, Proxmox is a data. So this is like a VPS solution. This isn't local, is it? Proxmox. Oh no, okay. Forgive me, it is local. Got it. Interesting. So an open source virtual environment solution. Nice, nice. I'm gonna curb that. You know, I'll test it, but I like the idea, especially since VMware was sold to Broadcom. I hate the whole corporate feel of it, but Let's see. I'm just going to go look at Reddit posts about this. Listen, I might have to start testing it. Might have to start testing it. You know what's funny is I'm going to set up. Never mind. Never mind. Oh, never mind. Just never mind. I have an old Dell server. Wonder if it's worth my time to fire up and use it for testing. Yeah. I mean, why not? At the very least, like, how old is it? Does it support virtualization? Like, you could always make it a VMware or just any type of hypervisor, whether you choose Proxmox or VMware ESXi. That's entirely up to you. I have not seen it yet, no. But welcome. It's all good. Oh, so I'm doing that to learn, right? I haven't done it yet, but I'm setting all this up and I'm cloning them to learn and to set that foundation so that I can make some videos around how to set it up. Oh, nice. So you already have everything set up. You can just start deploying VMs. That's awesome. Yep. Thank you. Okay. I don't want to define this yet. This is where I want to snapshot this, and then we're also going to turn it offline and clone it a few times. All right. Now I'm going to shut this thing down real quick, and I want to clone it a handful of times. Well, I guess at least once, and then I can clone the clone down the road. All right, let's go back to Muddy here. I mean, everything feels stable. So before I squirrel too much. There's the default locations. So I want to... All right, cool. I'll just do the one. That way we can get to work on this one. Yeah, I don't need to be reminded, but thank you. Gotta start using this iPad more on stream. It's useful. We'll set up that screen share at some point. Forgot to drop that like. I know you're not the type to ask for likes, but let's drop a like, Muzzsters, to get the stream more exposure. I appreciate you, Fourth Soil. Yeah, you know me, I'm not really the type. I know during the boot camp, I was very pushing for it just for the sake of getting the likes to the same number of live viewers that we had before starting. Listen, if you like the content, you will. I appreciate the support. I'm not going to go off on a rant there, but I'm all about organic growth, baby. Hey, building an AI company with Hermes, 80% done. Agents do their own tasks perfectly, but how can I implement cross-agent communication in Hermes like OpenClaw has? Any advice is huge. I'm going to have some videos coming out on this in the coming week or two. This weekend specifically, I need to re-record it after this live stream, but I'm going to be recording me setting up from scratch an OpenClaw and Hermes agent talking to each other. Currently, I do have that set up with my executive assistants. Let me pull that on screen for you. So it's a shared chat in Discord that they both have access to, that I can just come in, drop a note, drop an idea, drop a request, and they get to work, right? But I think you're more specifically talking about Hermes and how to create a multi-agent team underlying with your main Hermes agent. Is that correct? Because if so, a video is also going to come out the next week for that. Videos now only post on Saturdays and Sundays here, since I'm live streaming Monday through Friday. I might change that structure, but since this is our first week of doing this every day, I really just want to make sure I show up consistently, show up every day, and then we'll make adjustments to the posting schedule in the coming week or two. Oh, I mean, here's Simon's solution here. He uses a Postgres ledger private network with a dispatcher and compiler script to delegate tasks to each agent's inbox. Nice. All right. Oh, is the disk still attached? Let's, why do you have two? VMware is hilarious. They still have the whole floppy thing. Disconnect. Thank you, but no thank you. Noise. Close that. And close it all. Could have sworn that's where you adjust the thinking level. Interesting. Guess I can just do it in the TUI as well. Let's go thinking. Okay, set to medium now. Good. All right. So now, let me grab these notes off the iPad. Give me 1 second. What are the strengths and weaknesses between Hermes and OpenClaw? So I have my own. Let me think of carefully of how to say this because I haven't spec'd out a comparison list. I am working on a video that's in the queue that's coming after I have a little bit more time in Hermes. But off the top of my head, right, since I started using Hermes every single day earlier this past month, right, in April, the strengths that I see is having it handle front-facing engineering team requests, right? So I'm now building this new thing called Product OS, and that's completely controlled by Hermes. I have Clearmud OS, which is kind of like my content creation / day-to-day internal tools. Same with Muddy OS. These are both controlled by OpenClaw. And I have my own team running these two OSs. Now, for customer and front-facing products, I'm seeing a lot of strengths with Hermes because of its engineering first mindset and its ability to really close the loop and set certain automations to check for bugs each and every day. With OpenClaw, it's actually a little bit more involved and complicated to set up those types of automations compared to Hermes. At least that's my findings. So I'm using Hermes specifically for Product OS, which is going to handle revenue generating apps or anything customer facing, right? And this is specifically engineering related work. Now, I still have an engineering team on my OpenClaw system, but that's for internal day-to-day, the brand Clearmud related stuff, not products, right? So I'll have a little bit more to say about strengths and weaknesses. I can always pull up a list if you want, and we can review it together, but I'd rather share strengths and weaknesses based off of my experience and not reading off of a list, right? I mean, different Hermes agents talking to each other exactly like, yeah. I'm setting that up as we speak. So I don't want to rush videos out there until I fully understand how they work. So I would say, this month is going to be a big month for Hermes content, as well as Hermes and OpenClaw related content of them communicating with one another. SoFi is legit. Are you talking about the stadium? Are we going back to football talk right now? Because you're right, it is a legit stadium. I haven't had the pleasure of going to a game there yet, but all right. I have a bunch of scattered notes here that I think I'm just going to read off to my agent. So we handled an experimentation module, an agent module, a distribution module, but like it's easy to get lost between all of the different modules. So what if we do some type of compass, some type of internal roadmap so you know which one to work on for your idea? And that needs to be very intuitive. So, I feel like I should plan this out a little bit more before I start vibing this process. And we spent so much time working on just setting up a fresh OpenClaw, troubleshooting an OpenClaw update. And I'm going to have a guest here in about 10 to 15 minutes. So I think it's a good place to wrap it up. As much as I wanted to work on Labs OS today, listen, we go with the flow here. So we're going to have to kickstart that. Continue that work tomorrow. What are your thoughts on Cloud Code, Codex, and VS Code as harnesses? So Visual Studio Code is more of an IDE, right? To my knowledge, they don't have any type of model powering it. You can essentially spin up Cloud Code or Codex or any other frontier LLM in the CLI within VS Visual Studio Code, right? So like, excuse me, man, let me clear my throat really quickly. Raspy today, wow. So to be clear, I still use Claude Code in the CLI every day. I still use Codex in the CLI every day. I have been finding myself using this Codex desktop app more and more because it's really nifty. It has everything you need. But when it comes to, let's say you're working on a production app or a production site and you built it with Opus, it's very beneficial to do a final pass through for production, a security audit, so to speak, with Codex. That's like an industry standard right now. So like, and I know I'm kind of going off on a rant here. And maybe you're talking about, now, are you talking more specifically using them as harnesses for OpenClaw and Hermes? Because VS Code, the only thing I'm confused about there is VS Code is an IDE, right? It's just an interface that you utilize these models through, right? Just as you would a windsurf or a cursor, right? But also, I do know that Cursor has its own kind of AI agent set up. I just don't pay for it, so I don't test it. There's plenty of people paying and testing Cursor and creating content around Cursor. That's just not my lane. But, you know, and then to answer your questions on two-part, like, do they have certain limitations in regards to what? I think the only limitation right now is your imagination, is my imagination, is the human's imagination. I think that the limitations of these models are far few in between. It's more of a limitation of our imagination, of what we want to accomplish, of what we want to create, of what we want these models to do for us, right? Also, multi-agent systems as well, like OpenClaw, Hermes. I think the only limitations we have right now, listen, I know technically speaking, there are some other limitations, but for the most part, it's imagination. And I hate to get all philosophical, but it's true. Like, once you unlock that imagination, I feel like the limitations are far few in between, right? Yes, I've been using Codex and Opus through VS Code, but wanted to see if there are limitations instead of using the native app setup. Yeah, I think this is also a preference thing. I think that as time progresses, you know, Codex and Claude desktop apps, they have automation tools built in, skill hubs built in, plugins built in. So to me, it's more of a preference thing. I use the Codex desktop app a lot because I like the experience in it. The Claude desktop app I don't use very often because I don't like the experience in it. But then both of them in the CLI, I do still use both of them in the CLI quite a bit, right? Hey, I'm going to have to test it. So I don't want to tease it yet, but this Product OS version 2 is, I told Neo to utilize these new plug and play kind of visual plugins that you made me aware of for Hermes. So he's building out his own version of Product OS based off of those plugins available. So I haven't tested the Kanban board yet. That is very fresh. I'm not going to show that off today, but we'll show that off soon. Started setting up. But yeah, going back to it, Simon, thanks for the great questions. I hope that answers, right? I think at the end of the day, as long as you're testing these tools and building things, even if you don't plan on selling them, even if they're not going to production, you're getting that experience and you're putting yourself so much more ahead of the average person who is just intimidated from even loading up these things and working with these things, right? So the fact that you're working with them out of the CLI in VS Code, or maybe you downloaded one of the extensions, listen, I think keep going with what you're comfortable with, but also don't box yourself into using it one way, you know, because you can use these tools, these models, a number of different ways. But again, going back to it, I think the main limitations are your imagination, because you can do almost anything. You just have to have that vision for it. Yeah, me too. Hey, let's go. You stopped. I will do it again tomorrow. What do you mean you stopped? You mean you paused? You're not going to start over, are you? And if you are, respect. I get that. I get that. Just got Hermes last night. I'm thinking I'm going to try to use OpenRouter to start with the prompts, but then have those spawn out subagents with Claude if possible. Yeah, that's a great workaround right there as well. You know, within, like, if you do end up building a mission control, I built this out because this isn't locally on my machine, right? So I built out this terminal here so that I can control the VM, have terminal access, spin up Claude in the CLI. But now I have certain crons that spin up this terminal on the VM's browser, run Claude, do a task. So I'm still using Claude, but I'm not violating the terms of service because we're using it out of the terminal, an actual terminal interface. So there's workarounds. You just have to have a little bit of imagination. Hey, thank you, Simon. I really appreciate this. Thanks for being here. And thanks for the great questions. Looking forward to future episodes. Appreciate you. Just made $200 in an hour. Give people good service. You get paid well. I think I did. I will be releasing a video on how to do that. I can't explain to you in a simple sentence how to do it. Because honestly, I haven't done it. I've only read about how to connect multiple gateways. I haven't needed to connect multiple OpenClaw gateways. So as soon as I get some repetition in, I'll be able to explain that a lot easier for you. But I also plan on recording a video around this as well in the coming weeks. This is going to be a big month for just OpenClaw and Hermes related content. Primarily having Hermes communicate with OpenClaw, having them work together. I really want to focus on that lane this month. But I'm also going to be doing some basic Hermes videos. I'm going to go back to basics with some basic OpenClaw videos as well. But then I'm also not going to steer away from keeping my finger on the pulse with, you know, Claude, Codex. I do have Kimi 2.6 I need to test. I have some API credits I need to use. So like there's so much on my list. And I'm finally back in this creative warehouse, so to speak. So should be a fun month. Should be a big month. And this is also I'm going to go off on an end of stream rant. It's like the trade-off for live streaming every day is I can't focus that extra time and energy on long form videos. So it is kind of a negative from that perspective of not having that extra time to allocate towards preparing these long form videos. You know what I mean? So listen, I'm committed to testing this format for this month. But just based off of my first 4 days of realizing like, wow, I'm sacrificing time on long form videos and ideas for showing up every day on these live streams. I hope it doesn't backfire, but listen, we're going to test it for a month and see how it goes, right? At the very least, we're launching 2 videos a week, but those are now Saturdays and Sundays. Yeah. Looking forward to this video then. Listen, I'll try to prioritize getting it out there as soon as possible, but I don't want to rush it, right? So I think maybe by next weekend is a realistic goal. But stay tuned, you know, I build in public here, so I'll show my content calendar, you know, during live streams next week. Hermes agent ships with skills for delegating tasks for Claude CLI and Codex CLI. It works pretty good. Nice. I haven't tested these out personally yet. Okay, cool. Just to know it was a thing. Yeah, it is a thing. It is a thing. You know, on the surface, I think it should be fine, right? Because for my watchdogs or watchdog alerts and heartbeats, I use the cheapest possible model. Always. That it doesn't need to have any high intelligence or reasoning levels. Because depending on how you have yours configured, the heartbeat or watchdog is simply a checker. And then that's going to spin off, right? A different agent with a different reasoning level with a different model tied to it. So it could be the simplest of models. And I found great success in that personally with my setup. So Kimi is good. Used it for 2 months. I think you'll gain more by being live in front of people. Traction on my channels is low, but I'm committed to. Yeah, listen, we're testing out this month, seeing how it goes, you know. I don't feel any stress or anything like that. I enjoy this. Today was kind of weird. I wanted to work more on Labs OS, but you know, Muddy OS had a different idea, and then we kind of squirreled a bit. So, but it's okay. That's a part of doing this live. Right on. Well, hey, I want to thank everybody for stopping by. I do gotta cut this one, 2.5 hours total. So thank you, Mr. Baker. Thank you, TJ. Thank you, Amar. Welcome, new viewer. I appreciate you for being here. And I hope I'm saying your name correctly. Thank you, Level Up. Thank you, Simon. Thank you, Caden. Thank you, Derek, the OG. Thank you, Fourth. Appreciate you. Thank you, Matthew. Thank you, Barika. I hope I'm saying that correctly, by the way, as well. I tend to my R's are silent. I'm not sure if they're supposed to be or not. Let's continue on. Let's see. I don't think I can scroll anymore. Thank you, Koi, and thank you, Johnny. I can't scroll up any further to pin comments. So just want to thank each and every one of you for taking time out of your day to hang on this live stream. We'll be back at it tomorrow, same time. And until then, happy building. Cheers.